Hello and welcome to Investors Hangout. This weekly interaction to help you learn and understand savings and investment issues is brought to you by Value Research and Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Now, everybody talks about investing the right way, investing through SIPs. But have you ever thought about, how to withdraw your money in a methodical way for consumption or for regular, spending? How to do that? We have with us Dhirendra Kumar, who will tell you how to do exactly that. Now, first of all, Dhirendra, let's start with what exactly is an SWP?
SWP, to understand SWP, first you have to understand, why we invest.
Right.
Investing is postponed consumption. We are not consuming it today because at future date we need that money. We need that capital for spending or consumption or passing on to somebody, which means that we might need it. And every investor is in one of the two phases of life. When you are earning, saving and investing, and you are unlikely to need that money, which means you are the accumulation phase.
Right.
And then there comes a stage where you have stopped accumulating, you have stopped adding to your money or adding to your investments. But either that money lies there or you expect some return to be derived from it. Because now you have stopped working, you have retired, you need that money to support you. Now you are going to depend on that income with regularity, which you can bank on, for which you have worked all your life. And so in the deaccumulation phase, you need to devise a mechanism, and that is systematic withdrawal plan. It is the opposite of systematic investment, that you are investing regularly and you are withdrawing regularly, systematic withdrawal plan. So it's a converse of that. And it is very important because most people, when you build a large accumulation, when you accumulate a large amount of money, and that too done over a long period of time, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, and you have done it with small amounts of recurring investments. And then you realize that, okay, now you have 5 crore. And if you have 5 crore, you just might go crazy if you actually gain access to it. Don't go crazy. One is that think methodically about it. Good that you have that money. Now you have to devise a mechanism, apply some mind in terms of where that money should be invested. Is it good enough to support you for income? How to withdraw it, where that money should be invested and how to withdraw it is crucial. And in coming times, it is going to be very important for people to master this mechanism as well. Right now, most Indians are in the accumulation phase because India is a country of young people. But the same young people will get old, and the same young people will also stop working, and the same young people will also need money to consume.
And there is no pension now.
And you are unlikely to have pension like our parents.
Right.
Most of them, they work for the government and they have been getting regular pension, and not only regular pension. My parents, who are government employees, they get regular pension, and that regular pension is inflation adjusted.
Right.
They get a DA. And they are not used to that much spending. But if the reverse will be true, the young generation of today will need more money then, and it will also require superior, more reliable incremental thing, and that is only SWP can support, because you have to invest your money in such a manner that it does not only provides you income at regular pace, but the capital has to grow so that it can support the need for higher income in line with the inflation.
Right. Now, what is the ideal equity allocation for an SWP, and which funds should you invest in?
There is no ideal. Ideal is a function of, what exactly is your need and how much have you accumulated.
Right.
But I'll just give you an example for illustration, and I'm giving a large round number not to scare you, but just for ease of mental calculation. Assuming you have been able to accumulate 1 crore rupee and your monthly requirement is 50,000 rupees a month. 1 crore rupee, 6% is 50,000 rupees a month. So this is pretty straightforward. For this, if you put your money in an aggressive equity fund, it will be a little volatile, but it can well support that. If you put it in a conservative allocation fund, hybrid fund, that will also be good enough, because feel that you have to earn little more than what you will be consuming. If you are going to consume 6% of the return, and if this fund is going to earn, or any investment is going to earn more than 6%, 8%, 9%, so the residual income will actually add to your capital.
Right.
And next year you will have a larger capital and you can consume 6% of it, but that will be more than 50,000 rupees because your capital has grown. Now it depends. This is a paradox. If you have larger accumulation and your need for income is lower, then you can have higher equity allocation. And if you have marginal, assuming that you definitely need 6 lakh rupees a year and you have only 90 lakhs. But so you are left with no choice but to invest in a conservative equity hybrid fund, because any intermittent market decline will lead to erosion of capital. One thing which investors need to be very conscious of all the time, that you should be prepared for annual resetting of these. Annual resetting on a higher side is very understandable. You invested 1 crore of rupees, you took out 6 lakh rupees, and at the end of the year it became 1 crore 10 lakh rupees. So now you can take more. 6% of 1 crore 10 lakh rupees. But if it goes down to 95 lakh rupees,
right,
be prepared for little decline
in what you're withdrawing.
And that is very crucial. In the initial years, your investments are doing well and you're taking money out and you are leaving, then you will be able to build a margin of safety. But if you are unable to build that margin of safety, be prepared to downward revision as well. Because if you are disciplined about it in the initial years, you run the possibility of not depleting your money, build that margin again, and and it is very important for investors in that age, for savers in that age, to eliminate the possibility of running out of money.
Yes, outliving your...
Because if you have 95 lakh rupees, or if you have, assuming 1 crore rupee, and your investments have earned 5%, and you have consumed 6 lakh rupees, so your capital goes down. Now it can support lower income. So one has to be little diligent about it. I would like to point one more thing, which is that investors in this age group, as you get into retirement, you become little anxious. You'll not be as bad. If you have been an investor for a lifetime, things will be easy. But if you have not been an investor for a lifetime, you have just been an investor for the last 4 or 5 years, or there is somebody who will hold your hand. You have to be very important. You have to be very conscious that we are talking of an asset allocation. And there are broadly, I have kept, I have just for the sake of reminding it, broadly there are 3 kinds of asset allocation. Equally into equity, equally into debt, and rebalancing it periodically. And this is fine for somebody who needs 4% income from his capital will be good enough, because then you run the possibility of growing your capital so much that you will leave a larger estate for your successors. If your need for income is 6%, I would say that you need to keep just as much, 60% into equity, and in 2-3 years time you will be able to build some cushion. If it is going to be 8%, then you have to be a little more cautious, and you are on a very fine balance. But while you are doing this, also keep in mind that when I am talking of equity and debt, consider in the debt the fixed income alternatives offered by the government, the sovereign bonds, the senior citizen savings scheme, the post office MIP, because they give you guaranteed income. They give you decent high income. At the same time, they are fixed income, and you also derive a mental comfort that okay, here is something, and you let your remaining money appreciate. So you have to think in terms of withdrawal from your investments. First, you take out you factor in all the money that you will derive from post office MIP, senior citizen savings scheme, and the cash flow from that. Remaining money has to be derived from those market linked investments.
Right. Okay. And can you explain the tax implications of SWP in mutual funds?
No, I would not like to scare our investors with tax implications, because there is tax is extremely favorable. One is that you can't escape taxes. But for the first few years, one is that you have accumulated all your life,
right,
and now you are withdrawing and your income has come down to 0. So you are in the lowest tax bracket. So it is favorable once. Then the other thing is that in the initial years you will not be liable for for taxes because initially you will be taking the capital out. When you take, say, 50,000 rupees from your investment, which was invested 30 years ago.
So you're not liable to pay tax.
So it will be, no, you will be liable for the tax and you will be liable for all the gains. It will be treated as income. But if is it exceeding your income?
That's
is it exceeding your income bracket? And then what part of your initial investment is cost? Because you pay taxes, long-term capital gains, only on the gains.
Right.
What was the cost and what is the gain? Even though it will be a high gain component, but you will actually be in the lowest tax bracket, or maybe you have no other income. So plan those things. But it is better to have more money. Invest in equity as much as possible. Grow your pot substantially. Move your money to fixed income to derive the guaranteed fixed income from the things 30-40 lakh rupees which you can invest there. Remaining money should be in equity, and think of it holistically, and don't bother about taxes, because one is that you can't escape. The other is that within that there is no other way you can this looks like the most efficient way, taking a part of it by way of your capital. One should look at systematic withdrawal plan very seriously, because the only other alternative is annuity from insurance company. Whatever be your accumulation, you put your money in annuity and then you start deriving income from it, which the insurance company will guarantee. Annuities come in three formats. So one where the capital will be turned back, the other where you will be getting a fixed amount every month, and the other is that the fixed, it won't be fixed, it will be adjusted with inflation. And all the returns that you derive from annuity is very low. It is nothing like 4%, 6%. So it is better to have this in your hand.
Right.
The other is that align it with the market. And the third is that every Indian also aspires to leave some legacy for their grandchildren, for their children. And that is something where in your SWP, if you are able to retain most of the capital, your capital is also accessible in case of emergency. And then whatever is left will be left for the nominees. So most of Indians' aspirations, or old Indian person's aspiration, will be met with systematic withdrawal plan, with greater transparency, greater control. The only problem is that you have to get used to the market, which I'm hopeful that if you're watching this Investors Hangout, and if you've been watching regularly, by the time you retire, you will be very much used to it.
So here's hoping that today's episode will help you draw up a reliable pension plan for yourself. That's all we have for you in today's episode. Keep watching the space for more information. If you like the show, do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Take care. Bye for now.